The Indian and Pakistan rupees are continuing their slides against the dirham and the dollar. But what's causing the decline, and can it be reversed? That's the topic of today's edition of Inside AB. I'm Jeremy Lawrence and I'm joined here in the studio by Bernd de Boosman. Bernd, it's been quite an eventful week or two in the global markets. Tell us about what's been happening first.
It has. Well, for one, there was the biggest, most significant sell-off in financial markets since February, which doesn't seem like that long, but that's causing quite a lot of nervousness in the markets around the world.
Just because they're so highly valued at the moment?
Of course, yeah, it's causing a lot of people to feel quite jittery about it. And then the U.S. Treasury yields also rose to their highest level since 2011, which is very significant. And I think most significant, the IMF downgraded global growth forecast for the first time in 2 years. And a lot of that has to do with pressures on emerging markets, as shown by the Indian and Pakistani rupees.
Right, and they weren't that high, those forecasts anyway, were they?
No, they weren't.
So let's talk about Pakistan first. Why has it been in the headlines recently?
Well, on October 8th, it was reported that Imran Khan, the new prime minister, that he was planning to approach the IMF for financial aid. Later on, it was reported that other members of the cabinet did confirm that that was going to take place. Pakistan's economy has been in rough shape for quite some time now, but investors reacted quite badly to this. It's going to, if it takes place, it'll be the 13th time Pakistan has gone to the IMF for financial aid since the 1980s. The news itself had a very negative effect on the economy, and the Pakistani rupee fell to a very low point against the dollar.
I guess because the market's been waiting to see what happens with the new Imran Khan administration, and that's not a good sign, is it? Let's move on to India. The rupee's been falling for quite some time there as well, which is quite surprising because the economy has been one of the more successful ones in the world recently. Is this related to news from Pakistan?
No, not at all, actually. There's quite a lot of factors here, but one of them is that the dollar's been quite strong this year. The price of oil has been rising, and it's
a very energy-hungry country, of course.
And it's a huge energy-hungry country, a lot of consumption. And recently, it hit 20 rupees to the dirham, which was a record, and it's continued to fall since then. Okay,
so the economy is doing well, but it just can't compete against that strong dollar at the moment. So what do analysts say about the forecast for the Indian rupee?
Well, this is going to continue. I've spoken to a lot of people that work in exchange houses, for example, and they think if not by the end of this year, certainly at the beginning of next year, we'll hit 21 rupees to the dirham, which would be very significant. It's quite good from the perspective of Indians living here, sending remittances. You can send more. Also tourists, they think a lot more tourists will go to India because of this, and it makes it an even more affordable destination.
Right.
But overall, it's not great. The Indian government is injecting almost $5 billion in government bonds to prevent a credit crunch, but at this point, there's not much they can do to prevent that slide. So we'll see it at 21 against the dirham sooner than later.
Okay. Well, there's certainly a lot of Indian and Pakistani nationals living in this country, so they'll be waiting to see what happens with bated breath. Bernd, thanks for giving us that lowdown. You've been watching Inside AB. Do let us know, as always, what you think about this. What's your prediction for the rupees in India and Pakistan? Where are we going? And what about that market crash? Is it coming, and if so, when? Do let us know, and we'll see you every weekday at 10 a.m.